it is MurderInc here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we have a pretty cool one, something I haven't done in, I would say, quite some time. So there are going to be some changes down the line, probably, most likely. They're looking for feedback and I'm honored, you should be honored. They want your feedback. They know that on this channel there's a lot of really good viewers here, they have really good insights here, so I'm going to share with you what I had as an idea. And what we're talking about here today is going to be the clan power, total power, team power. That whole portion of Raid Shadow Legends is being considered to be completely reworked, overhauled, to kind of enhance it, fine-tune it. They were looking for feedback. I'm going to post verbatim what I said in this little, I guess we can call it a survey thing. So while we're talking about that, I want you guys to leave a comment. Once you've heard what I said, you can give me your feedback on what I had to offer to the company as well. See what you would change, see what you liked, but also if you have a good idea, definitely step forward, give your feedback. That's the point of this video. They wanted to hear from you guys because they do value this viewer base specifically, because you guys are very positive and constructive overall. So with that being said, let's talk about team power. In my opinion, you can agree, you can disagree with me, but in my opinion as of right now, it doesn't really do a lot for the game. There is some end game use to it. If you're fighting a team and they have really high team power in the arena, you can say, okay, more likely than not they have a few resistance champions, but for the majority of people in the game, it's weird. You see it in dungeons. What does it really show you for dungeons? So with that being said, let's go over what I had to offer. So my idea is, I don't want to say pretty simple, but I think it should be pretty simple for them to kind of initiate into this game. So if you've started reading ahead already, you can see that I wanted to enact some type of algorithm that's going to be really easy to implement for them, showing the total stats of your team instead of total power. I think this would be cool for clans, dungeons, it would be cool for arena, but it wouldn't take away, especially from arena, any type of competitive aspect of it. So what I'm talking about here is give the total value of HP per however many champions or in whatever content you're doing. So if it's arena, it's going to be the total HP of 4 champions. The same is going to apply for accuracy, resistance, speed. This way you can see if a team has, I don't know, let me just pull out a number here, 300, 500, 700, 800. If your team has a total of 800 speed, they're kind of like middle of the pack, not that fast. So eventually you're going to become accustomed to what total speeds are good for you to attempt to go against, which ones aren't. This is really going to help in finding out who's speed tuned and who isn't, just by doing some simple mental math when you are fighting these opponents. However, it's not going to give a massive advantage to you if you are attacking, because you don't want people's defense to get destroyed by any new system they do implement here. So it's not going to reveal things like what gear sets they're wearing, what accessories, not that any accessories are currently broken in the game, but it's not going to reveal any of that good stuff there. All of that's still going to be there as a deterrent for players trying to attack and keeping those defenses pretty solid, but it's going to give attackers a bit more information about who they are fighting so they can pick and choose their battles more carefully. And in my opinion, it's probably what the original goal of team power was. It was very useful about a year and a half ago when the game first came out. If someone had high power, no one knew about resistance stacking, no one knew about overcapping crit rate to inflate those numbers, so you could pretty much tell if a team had very high power, you just wouldn't attack it. It was that simple. However, as the game's improved, it's advanced, I'm pretty sure Plarium understands this because they did ask this question. So that is my whole thing. Obviously this would be extremely clunky if they did put speed, HP, and typed out the full words. My suggestion was use the icons, like the speed icon, the HP icon, just have a total number next to it. That way the arena UI doesn't look completely ridiculous with so many numbers there, and I don't know. So that's my idea there. This also applies to dungeons. We can apply this to where you'll need to be to complete all of the dungeons. So for me as a content creator, right now I can build 1,000 dungeon teams, say this team is good for Dragon, this team is good for Fire Knight. How cool would it be if they did use a system like this and I can say, okay guys, you want to have a total of 10,000 defense, if you want to complete Fire Knight 20, that's going to be the threshold you want to make sure you're surviving the mechanics going forward, just from the normal hits there, on top of any buffs you would provide for that team. Same thing applies to health. Crit rate, probably not something that they should add to this. Crit damage, same thing there. They can add attack to that. I think the base stat of attack is going to be important, so pretty much the details would be HP, defense, attack, resistance, accuracy, speed, and I believe it's just those 6. Maybe you can, I don't think I'm forgetting anything, so hopefully I am not, but it wouldn't reveal anything like gear sets, so don't worry about that. But the other implementation that I think would be really cool is if they carried this, because team power is also in clan boss, so you can't just give them, hey, I think this would work the best here. You have to make sure it applies to everywhere that is affected by team power. So now, how cool would it be to see stat is in that clan on everyone's account? I think that would personally be really cool. I think HP, defense, those would all be really cool numbers, and that would determine how good that clan is in the ranking system. Right now, like I said, you can skew the numbers for resistance. No one should have to wear resistance gear. That was something stupid. I'm pretty sure clans aren't doing that anymore. I know when I was in Gods and Legends, we did that a little bit, but we were always like, listen, having the highest player power doesn't make you a good player. So the clans competing with us, let them keep stacking it. We'll always be the most notorious and rank 1 clan in the game, simply because of our player skill. That's what we always strive to do. So that is how we kind of approach that. I think this will get us closer, not very close, but closer to that level, and it would be pretty interesting because in this sheet alone, I did mention here that all stats would be equal to 1. So 100 speed, 100 health, the value of that's all going to be 100 total, no matter what stat it is, so there's no overstacking there, and you can then use those totals to really look at how high the clan power is going to be. This way, the clan with the most built champions, I mean, they don't necessarily have to be built perfectly. That would be really hard to track, but as far as built champions go, I think it's a much better metric to ranking clans than it is to just having stat weights and some of them not weighted properly like we have now. I think overall it would be really cool, like I said, to see how much HP some of the top clans do have in total. Attack, defense, accuracy, speed. I think speed is going to be the most interesting number. How much total speed across an entire clan do people have? I think it would be cool to flip through the list of all the clans and kind of gather this information. So this is my video today. This is what I wanted to bring up, and I'm looking for your guys' feedback. Do you have any good ideas to add to what I'm saying? Do you maybe have a more efficient way to use team power? If you do, try to be, you don't have to be crazy thorough like I was in here. You don't have to type like a page here, but they are going to be sorting through the comments per usual and kind of seeing what you guys have to say. So if you do want to do this, put some thought into it, and I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. This is the key point here. Make sure that if you're going to do team power, make sure it applies to arena, make sure it applies to dungeons, make sure it does apply to clan boss. That's very important. You can't build a system for just dungeons and say, this is my idea for dungeons, team power, and then have it make no sense for arena and no sense for the overall clan power rating. Now, it's possible, they didn't really get into too much detail here, of course, but it's possible they do something totally separate for the clan ranking systems if they do rework how team power is going to work down the line. But it's much better to be more efficient than less efficient when giving information to them, so it can really help them and help whatever think tank they do have outside of using us. Outsourcing is very smart, by the way, to kind of put this all together, make a really good system, because like I said, I think the current system makes no sense now, and I don't really think it's like a shot at plarium, because if you did play in the early stages of the game, it did make a lot of sense. It was nice to know how much power your team had for dungeons. It was nice to know how much power your team had for arena. It was easy to read how good the other team was back then. Now it's quite a bit harder. If I asked a random player in silver, bronze, gold, how do you pick who you fight? Do you look at team power at all? They might say, yeah, a little bit. I mean, in bronze, it probably makes more sense. It's like the early on into the game. If a team has a crazy high team power, double your team, they probably have a ton of gear that you don't have. However, if you're 15,000 power, 5,000 power off, it's kind of really hard to tell. They could be extremely fast and you'll have no idea. So I think this system is a really good way to kind of review and plan an attack, strategize when you are working for arena, and I already gave you the reasons for dungeons as well. So that's kind of where I'm sitting here. The only thing I didn't really talk about is going to be clan boss. I think clan boss is probably going to have the greatest benefit from a system like this because there are very specific health and defense requirements you're going to need if you don't have an unkillable team. So being able to see everything in your team, like I'm just going to pull a random number out, 20,000 defense. If you need 20,000 defense for Ultra Nightmare, it would be amazing to see that because it is split across all of your champions here. Yes, you can say some champions would have higher, some champions would have lower, but you do want to be above a certain threshold. So as long as you know how you have your champions geared, maybe you forgot to put a piece on, you would see that right away. When looking at this, if they did use this new power system, you'd say, okay, my defense is about 4,000 too low. Let me go and check my champions real quick just to make sure everyone has the gear on. You say, oh, this guy's not wearing a ring. This one doesn't have a banner on. Everything's solved there. Accuracy, that's another huge point. You have 3 champions that use accuracy, taking into account the base accuracy all the champions get. You'll be able to notice pretty quickly if you are hitting that accuracy threshold for Ultra Nightmare, Nightmare, so on and so forth. So as always guys, give me your feedback. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of my idea? What are some ideas you guys have as the viewer base here? Spread the word, let people know about this video. Be careful though, only spread it to people who you think will actually give this a time of day, and give some viable feedback as to what we're talking about here. Don't give it to someone that you know is just gonna whine and say, hey plarium, when's the dupe system coming? The answer is gonna be soon. I can just answer that for you. Soon. Okay, so as always guys, if you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss my next video, and I will see you all in the next upload.